You asked for it, and I always try and come through for you guys. So we're going to talk about how to dominate college football on DraftKings and FanDuel, my top 5 tips, and we're starting right now. What's up, guys? Joe Holka here. Welcome to another daily fantasy sports and betting video. If this is your first time here and you want to become a profitable DraftKings player and get better at betting, start now by subscribing to the channel. Make sure you click that notification bell so you don't miss anything along the way. And if you're already a Holkamaniac, you know what to do. Smash that like button and we'll get started. Tip number 1 is that we can't treat college football like the NFL. And the good news is there's a ton more slates than there is for the NFL season.
In college football, there's a lot more yardage that gets accumulated during a game. Teams play at faster tempos. Defenses aren't as good. So you see a lot more points scored in college football. You see a lot more yardage accumulated. You see a lot more receptions accumulated. NFL, I would say average total NFL game is like mid to low 40s, yeah?
Yeah, probably.
So in college football, the games that you're generally targeting, you're looking at 70 to 75 plus point totals. So you're expecting 30 more points scored in these college football games than the NFL games. So you're expecting a lot of these college games, you might see 500 or 600 yards. I would assume in NFL it's probably around 400 of total offense. And then you're expecting an extra 28 points, so an extra 4 touchdowns in the game. So basically, if you're expecting an extra 4 touchdowns, you're expecting an extra 200 yards each team. Maybe you're expecting an extra 10 receptions each team. You're adding about 75 more fantasy points per game than what you'd add in an NFL game.
Let's talk a little bit about the slates. Like, are the slates a little bit different in college football? Like, what type of slates are typically offered, and like, what are you looking for? I know it's probably a little bit like there's so many slates going on. We touched on it before, but is there anything that you want to talk about as far as the main differences?
Yeah, so the DraftKings and FanDuel both offer a lot. DraftKings offers more. So you might see games on a Tuesday, a Thursday, a Friday. Then you'll have a main slate, a afternoon slate, a late slate, and a late slate. And then all throughout that, you have showdown slates offered as well. So pretty much during the college football season, you can find the slates almost all the time during the week. And they're all different aspects. FanDuel Showdown's terrible, I will say that, so I don't really play it. But DraftKings Showdown is very good. And generally we'll have like a player that stands out due to pricing as the captain. But DraftKings is a very good showdown product for college football. But yeah, you have so many different slates, and the prize pools are big. I think they had a 100K prize pool at one point last year.
Nice.
They had an online final last year in college football. I think it was like 250K. So the prize pools are good. Like, they're not going to be NFL good, but the prize pools are good enough that anyone that's going out there and winning GPPs is having a great time.
By the way, guys, if you've ever found value in any of my videos or live streams, obviously they're all free. One of the best ways to support what I'm doing here is to throw me the follow over on Twitter. And if you're new to the community, I know a ton of you are over on Instagram, so if you could follow me over there, I'd really appreciate it. Tip number 2 is to pay attention to injuries because they can open up a ton of volume just like in the NFL.
Injuries play a massive effect in college football, as they do in every sport. If a guy is out at a running back position or a receiver comes in, some teams have guys that will fill in. Other teams have sort of like a platoon. So the difference between college football and NFL is college football rostered like 80 or 90 people. So each team has like 10 to 12 receivers. So if one receiver gets injured, he might not play as much as the others. And also it becomes a snap count situation similar to the NFL. If you have a guy that doesn't play tons of snaps, sort of limits what you're going to expect from him in terms of an output. So you're sort of looking for that as well.
Tip number 3 is to pay attention to Vegas lines, but also pace. We want up-tempo games with tight spreads so that hopefully they shoot out. So are you using Vegas differently for college? Because I would assume there's just these massive spreads in comparison to the NFL.
Yeah, so what happens in college football is you're going to see massive spreads. But so the difference is in NFL, there's really no blowouts. There's no real blowouts where guys are going to get pulled from a game. College football, if the team's up 30 points, you're probably going to lose that team. And especially if teams rotate running backs. Running backs has sort of moved to what you're looking at with like the NFL, where a lot of teams run platoons.
Sure.
So if you have Alabama and they're a 45-point favorite and you want to play a guy like Damian Harris, he might only get 7 touches. So if you're playing a guy that's going to get 7 touches, that guy better score twice and get 200 yards on 7 touches. You're asking a lot.
Yeah.
So it's a situation where you sort of want to get high total game, but you also want a back and forth game if you can get them. So Texas Tech is usually a team you play a lot. They play very up tempo. They played in Oklahoma State. All of a sudden, the spread is like 7 and the total's 80. You just start finding guys in this game and you load up. You get 5 or 6 guys if you can. It all depends on pricing. And you just get people in there.
Just want to take a second and just thank everyone in the Amazon crew. It truly makes a big difference in kind of creating this channel and making things continue to grow. So really appreciate that. What you basically have been doing is just been bookmarking that link, using it for your day-to-day shopping. You can find any of the ones in the description below. Doesn't matter what you buy at that point, as long as my link brings you to Amazon, you're doing your part. Really appreciate it, guys. Tip number 4 is don't be one of those casual players that just has to get Alabama players in their lineup. We really want to focus again on tempo and really stacking up the games that we think have potential for a lot of points and not a ton of defense.
So what happens in college football is people want to watch like the SEC. So like Alabama plays some good defensive team in the SEC. They play Florida. Well, the problem is the total in that game's 40 or 45, or the same thing. Like people look for Alabama and they play some minnow that they're a 40-point favorite against. You're only going to get 7 carries, or you play against a good defense. You're looking at a slow game where you might get 20 carries, but you're going to get like 3 yards a carry. I don't want that game, but that's what the general public wants.
Crazy.
The general public sees that as the best teams, so they're trying to play players from that game. I don't care about that game. I might not watch a single snap of the Bama season unless they're on a showdown slate because I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like they literally, I'll see them on. This is how long I take on, like, let's say it's Bama versus Florida. I'm looking at the games. Okay, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. Yeah, I like that. Bama, Florida. Okay, next. And that's it. That's the extent of the looking I will do at that game. Or Bama's like against the minnow. It's like, okay, next, because all of their players are going to be very expensive. Let's say there's a 10K running back for Bama. He gets 7 carries. How's he going to pay off 10K?
Right.
Whereas I can go get this other 10K carry that's going to get 35 carries. I'm going to take him every time. So it's one of those situations. You want volume, so you want to know where your volume is going to come from.
Similar to NFL, like, I mean, for anyone that's been kind of following along with this channel, you'll know that like game stacking is extremely important as well. So you're kind of hearing what Sean's saying about like which games to stack. So you're looking for pace, you're looking for not necessarily some of the biggest spreads where there's just these massive guys that are priced differently. Is there anything else that is one of your kind of looking at different games to stack?
Yeah, a lot of the time in those games, you'll find maybe the 5th or 6th receiver, 4th or 5th receiver is really low priced. And teams that are playing, and it's a situation where a team might have very poor abilities in terms of what they normally do, but if they play in an up-tempo game, they might be expected to get 150 more yards than they normally do, but they're priced like that. So you have to sort of adjust for that.
Just a reminder, if you're looking to invest in yourself and take your game to that next level, I do offer one-on-one coaching. So check out joeholka.com/coaching for a little bit more information on that. And if you prefer just to continue to learn in a group setting, that's totally fine. A lot of people don't realize that they have an Amazon Prime account. You automatically have access to a free Twitch Prime subscription. So you might as well take advantage of it. You get access to my premium Discord chat as well as a bunch of other subscriber-only perks. And you really should be taking advantage of those live streams. They're totally free. Twitch.tv/joeholka. Make sure you're following so you don't miss when I go live. Tip number 5 is to just at least be cognizant of the amount of running back platoons that are in college football, but also rushing quarterbacks are just that much more valuable in college football DFS because sometimes the pricing's messed up and you always want to have that rushing floor from your quarterback. One thing that you mentioned too about these running back splits, I would assume, and maybe I'm wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, like college football, are there any of these running backs that are extremely good in the passing game? So like, can we like get these kind of pass catching running backs on DraftKings in particular? Like, do they have value on some of these running back splits for some of these maybe games that are a little bit closer?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to look it up real quick. But so different teams have different game plans and situations like that. So you have certain teams that don't really use the running back at all out of the backfield. Then you have certain teams that do use the running backs out of the backfield quite a bit. So a good example, James Williams for Washington State. He had 83 catches last year for 600 yards and 4 touchdowns. And then he also had 12 touchdowns on the ground. So he was averaging about 10 carries on the ground. He would average about 8 targets in the air, and he would score like 1.25 touchdowns a game. So you have guys like that are heavily involved. You have guys that are in more of a platoon. Alabama runs a platoon. They had 3 or 4 running backs all year that would get carries. Then you have certain teams that literally workhorse a guy, and this guy gets like 40 carries.
Yeah.
So you know these teams, and if a guy's going to get 40 carries in a good matchup and the team's rush defense stinks, you know that guy's probably going to produce a good rush total, because this is probably a guy that averages 5 yards a carry and averages a touchdown or 2 touchdowns a game. Well, if you're going to give me 40 carries and I average 5 yards a carry, it's going to be a pretty good play most of the time. The key is rushing at quarterback. In NFL, you see a guy like Lamar Jackson. Well, the difference is in the college game, guys like Lamar Jackson also throw for 300 yards and run for 150. So you might have a quarterback like a Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson. Their ceiling might be 50 or 60 points. It's difficult for other people to get up to like a 50 or 60 point ceiling, even though they might be similarly priced. But that said, they sometimes misprice rushing quarterbacks, and you might get a rushing quarterback for $6,000 that is going to run for 100 yards, get a touchdown, throw for 200, get a touchdown type of thing. And if you have that much of a rushing ability, it really produces a great floor for you, regardless of what your price is.
If you want to learn more about how to become a profitable daily fantasy sports player and how to get better at betting, start now by hitting that subscribe icon in the bottom right-hand corner so you don't miss anything. Have a ton of DFS courses on demand for other sports as well, so be sure and check those out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.